just like the last problem in number 7, there is another faster method to doing this, but it's going to take a lot of extra concept. It's way faster, but you have to be willing to go beyond RNS and look at the model kits. And again, that has its pitfalls. If you don't understand it, it's fine. You can do it the other way. I'll just show it just for the few of you that'll be able to use it. So for the first way of doing, the best faster way of doing this takes advantage of Fisher projections like B and C. And if we convert all of these to Fisher projections, it's actually a lot quicker. So if I wanted to get this into a Fisher projection, I'd have to first know what makes the Fisher projection unique. The fact that instead of going to that normal cis and trans configuration we see, it goes into that ring, and that ring actually makes it, on a Newman projection, eclipsed. So to make these eclipsed, I'd have to move them around a little bit and twist them around their single bonds. So first I'd move my top one, and I'd twist it so their carbons are eclipsing each other, and that would twist this other ring, this other branch on top of that, and this branch on top of that. So if I wanted to show it on this, there's the original, and then when you eclipse it, you'd end up with the new Newman projection. And that would put it down here, and I'll redraw it. So this branch on the bottom right, we'll say is CH3 and CH3. So it corresponds to this movement up here. And I wanted to draw the next branch. It'd be, again, this is the top one first on the crosshair, and so that'd be the one on the left, and that is an OH and an H. So on the other side I have an H on that side, and on the bottom carbon there's an OH. Now if I look at this from this side, again, this can be difficult for some of you to see. I can actually see the Newman projection. So that's looking at it like this, and looking at it from this side, we'll have this configuration right here. And that would end up giving us, through this side, we know that this over here is on the left side, and this down here is on the right side. So now we have left up here and right down here. H, H. So that's our Newman projection down there. If we do the same thing for this Newman projection to get into a Fisher, we'll move the carbons like last time on top of each other. That moves these over and this over. So our new Newman projection has the carbons on top of each other, just as before. And then the one on the top carbon has this H up there. That's to, I twisted it that way, it would be on the top carbon. So this would be OH, this would be H, and this would be the opposites. This would be H and OH. Again, we look at it from this side, and that'll be this carbon right here. Now we have the opposite on the one as the one before. Now the top O is on the right side, and the other's up here. If this is hard for you to see, you can always get the model kit. You won't be able to use it on exam. If you can't see it by the exam time, go with the original. Okay, so now I look at these two, and it's good to note that they don't have an internal plane of symmetry like the one before. They're not meso compounds, but they are, the branches are switched, as you can see. The bottom one down here and here are switched, and then the top is switched. So that means they're enantiomers because they're not meso. So I could have done that right away from this. And now if I wanted to compare it as the next one before A and B, if I compared the Fisher projections, I would see that this one has a meso, and this here, the bottom rung is on the same, but the top rung is different. They switch, the arms switch positions. The OH is on the right here, and here it's on the left. So that means I have one different handedness. If I have just one different and one the same, that means I have diastereomers. Now if I look at, oh no, B and C, the two Fisher projections, I could have just done that without doing RNS as well. Just by knowing that, hey, these are mirror images of each other, but they're meso. Meso compounds can't have enantiomers, so therefore they have to be identical.